Well, I've got one of the most busy directors of photography. That's what I'm going to call you because.
Where do I sit this?
Right on your lap is fine. Put it over there. There we go. You know what?
Need some Crisco.
I was going to go ahead and restart this, but I like that statement so much, I'm not going to do it. But I got Ben. Ben, you're a talented young man. And I say young because you're not old. But Ben, talk to me about some of the films you've been working on recently.
Well, we've been doing a lot of work lately. 2011 was a big year, and 2012 is even going to be a bigger year. We started off last year with Zombie Prom, directed by Tom Rockwell, which was a great effort put forth by the community with Steve Strank with Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And it was a really good turnout. We had a lot of fun, and it was a mix of a music video and a little bit of drama and a comedy, so that was a lot of fun. Throughout the winter, we've been working on a feature film directed by Matt Johnson.
Johnson. That's how you say it in Utah, but how do you say that in other parts of the world? Is it Matt Johnson, I think is how some people pronounce it?
Johnson.
He said Johnson.
Holy cow.
So what's this thing that Matt Johnson's been working on?
It's titled Lust of the Vampire Girls, and it is a feature-length film that was put together on a shoestring budget.
I just got it. Johnson and Lust of the Vampire Girls. That's funny. Okay, keep going.
I went in the gutter there. Was I supposed to?
You know what? We're kind of like a cable show, so we can get away with just
cool.
about anything.
That's awesome. Web distribution cable. It's been a really great time. It was a long shoot of about 12 to 15-hour days. And so it stars Amy Sambana, Ashley Eliza Parker, and Victor Medina. And the relationship and the dialectic that was on that set was probably one of the best I've ever seen. From a cinematographer's point of view, it's been a really big challenge just because we did not quite have the budget we needed to light this appropriately. I probably lit this whole movie with about 3 or 4 lights. And so it posed a lot of challenges for us, but we've been going through it, and it's going to be really promising. And we've got a little bit more production left to do, but as soon as we're wrapped, we're lining up distribution as we speak. And so, yeah, it's going to be really good.
Well, one of the things I'm concerned about is when you're trying to make a really artful piece, we're kind of limited on our resources, especially up here in Ogden. We don't have a lot of production houses, and if we do, they cost a lot of money. What are some of your solutions you do to get the best type of lighting for these shoots? Because you really do some beautiful work.
The best thing to do is to, and as a still photographer, I do a lot of DIY work. I have a very popular YouTube channel where I teach lighting techniques to beginning photographers and off-camera lighting, both strobe and continuous. The best thing to do, honestly, with lighting is to shoot as rugged as you can, whether you're doing guerrilla warfare and doing something where all you're using is Home Depot lights. That's all you really need. Usually the light doesn't make a difference. Cameras lighting are simply tools to create a product. It's not saying you can't create a great product not having the best equipment, you know, because after all, we are artists and we are making the films. You know, all the cameras and the lights are simply tools to get you there faster. You know, I can certainly put together a dresser or a cabinet with one screwdriver, but if I use the ratchets and stuff, you know, that I have in my garage, it's going to be a little bit easier. And so building some of your own light fixtures is always a way to go. There's a lot of how-to videos on YouTube for building your own stuff. And if you can operate a wrench, a screwdriver, and, you know, work with a little bit of electricity and not, you know, kill yourself, it's highly recommended.
So
did that make any sense?
It did, because it's one of those things. If you have the right tools, it makes the job easier. But if you don't, you'll just fudge it and use duct tape. Now, the one thing gaffer tape. Pardon me. We are on a film set.
Now, I gotta mention this because where I come from, my old man used duct tape to fix everything, and the motto was, if you can't duck it.
Right. Verb it.
And then I started using gaffer tape, and like it holds my car together, it holds my house together. It has been used for belts. I've used it to keep my pants on, and it's great. And so that's the other thing. Always use gaffer tape for everything. Unfortunately, it's expensive, between $18 and $25 a roll. And so on my sets, I'm always yelling at PAs not to use it to, you know, hang signs on doors and stuff. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that totally makes sense, because PAs will take your gaffer tape and they will stick the other PAs to the wall. I've seen this happen before on other shoots I've been on. Now, ultimately, you have been working so much in both still photography and video production that I've noticed that they kind of blurred the lines between just being a still photographer and a director of photography. How important do you think it is to have a foundation in still photography before you make the jump into making films?
That is an awesome question, Warren, and that is something that I have been pushing in both my career and my journey as a cinematographer and a photographer, is that there's so many still photographers out there that are afraid to get into film and motion picture, and then there's a lot of motion picture guys out there that are afraid to jump into the world of still photography. To me, lighting is lighting. The quantity, quality, and shaping of light is the same thing whether it's 24 frames a second or a still image. And so my goal is, I consider myself a hybrid. You know, I dabble in both. Having a firm foundation in lighting before you jump into camera work is essential. You know, you can have the best camera in the world, but if you don't light a scene appropriately, it isn't going to look right. You know, there's so many people now, and with the advent of digital technology, post-production work, Photoshop, etc., a lot of people are using that as a crutch to take a mediocre photo or a mediocre footage and tweak it and twist it to where, try to make it something substantial and nice. I'm one of those guys. I try to get it right in the camera the first time. It's one of those things, if I even have to spend more than 3 minutes in Photoshop on an image, the image is botched, I don't even worry about it. If my exposures are off by more than a quarter or half a stop, footage isn't even worth it, it's a bad take. So I'm one of those, if you find yourself saying, oh, I'll just fix that and post later, slap yourself in the face, yell at a PA, yell at a gaffer, yell at yourself, and get it fixed beforehand. I've ticked off a lot of directors that way.
No, you would be my favorite DP if you did that to me. Now, before we go ahead and head off to a commercial break, tell us one more time where we can find out more about your instructional videos and some of the projects you're working on.
You can see more of my work on my website at www.bts, as in boy, Tom, Sam, photography.com. You can see my ever-popular growing YouTube channel. My videos are closing over 1 million views right now.
Wow.
For my lighting tutorials, and that is youtube.com/username. It's big, B-I-G, because, I mean, we're big. BS, as in my initials, Ben Sant, 4. So big BS4. You can find me there, and I also help host the show called Framed at frameshow.net. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Ben.